fashion showcase that is happening on the 26th of November. And just for those wondering, what is the role of fashion in promoting culture?
Balamusiza basebo ne banyabo mwebale nnyo kujja mu bungi. Ekisooka ndi musanyufu nnyo nti ngenda kubeera ntwala culture yange eye Uganda yonna, si kukoma wano mu East Africa ne mu nsi yonna. So okulaba nti tulinamu abazungu nja kugattamu olugattegatte njogere mu luzungu nabo bategeere eki kye twogerako. Thank you so much, Cynthia. I'm very privileged to be a part of this wonderful festival. One as Mrs. Uganda, but also as Talent Africa staff. Culture means something really great for me. I've represented Uganda on a number of international stages in terms of fashion and beauty, exporting what we are as Ugandans to the world over there. I was Miss Uganda 2011, and then I was Miss Global World, first runners-up 2013, and now I'm Mrs. Uganda 2021. So when you see the platforms that I've been using for the past 10 years are about exporting Uganda's culture, traditions and values. So to be a part of the Mpango as Mrs. Uganda is extremely a pleasure. Fashion plays a big role in terms of culture. You see that African elements actually have been picked up and taken to the world in terms of fashion, and Africa hasn't gotten its recognition for the part we play in terms of developing fashion trends all over the world, from the way we dance, to the way we dress, to the prints, and to the culture that we have. It's time that Africa, Uganda, got recognized for the part that we play in terms of developing fashion worldwide. And it begins with all of us in this room to make sure that the world sees Africa for who we are. Let's stop hiding behind Western cultures. Let's stop hiding our talent and our skills behind the civilization we got. And it's time we got brave about ourselves, our traditions, our prints, and tell the world this is who we are. We are not naked Africans, we are not starving Africans, we are not impoverished poor Africans, but the things that the world has adapted to in terms of fashion and trends are actually rooted deep in the roots of Africa. So that's the major role that fashion plays, and I'm so happy that Ekyooto Ha Mpango is picking up this element and incorporating it into the festival, because the youth, we can talk about the business and the hard stuff, but the youth, this is the language of the young people and the youth. Youth are trendy, youth are fashionable, so if you want to connect to the youth, pick up on the elements that interest them, and the number one element why people slay on social media, people slay on TV is fashion. So I think the Kingdom did a great job in picking up fashion in order to communicate to the youth of Toro, but to also the youth of Uganda, the importance of fashion and culture. So during Ekyooto Ha Mpango, we are going to, actually it's called the Jewel of the Pearl Fashion Show. And the jewel is the Toro Kingdom. Being the tourism city of Uganda, that's the jewel of the pearl. And what we are doing is integrating high-end fashion and culture. So when you see this fashion showcase, you're going to be amazed, because we are getting these two elements and combining them. And in that way, you will appreciate where culture has come from in terms of setting trends, not only in Uganda, but the world over.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Sylvia Namutebi Alibi. As you know, maybe if you don't know, it would be a great opportunity for you to come to Fort Portal Tourism City and find out. We do have some of the most fashionable ladies and gentlemen, plus the beauty too. Now, speaking of beauty and fashion, what are some of the highlights if someone is still thinking twice about coming for the Ekyooto Ha Mpango festival, and now they've heard that there's going to be a fashion expo? What should they expect? What are those highlights that will really turn heads on that day?
So we have some of the big names or big brands in the fashion industry, like Judith Hart. She's been a model for so many years and so many people know her. She's a Mutoro from Fort Portal. She'll be among the models. We have Miss Earth and a young artist that talks to so many of the youth all over Uganda, Lamu. She'll be among the models. And then we have the Toro queens themselves from the tourism, the first and second runner-up queens from Miss Tourism Toro. They'll be on the runway. Myself, I'll be showcasing on the runway. And then not only that, we've integrated local models from Fort Portal, from Toro itself, and they will also be walking the runway. So that's one element that is really big. People come and see all these personalities that will showcase on this event. Also, the way we've planned this show is different. It's not the usual fashion show you'll see. Given that we have a movie premiering, we're going to make it like it's a Hollywood star kind of fashion show, however rooted within African materials and designs. So it's something different that people should expect during the runway.
Okay, not to mention that one of the biggest designer brands, who is actually from Toro, will be showcasing her work, Shiba Kasami Priscilla. So we are going to move on to Mr. Golola Moses, who is a professional kickboxer. What was your experience? Madame Sylvia Alibi talked about the movie that will be premiering called Renzori Moon. What was your experience? What was your experience shooting that movie?
Nkanyizi. Bannange mbalamusizza nnyo. Yenze Golola Moses ow'olunyiriri lwa Kyakeera ne muzzukulu wa Walusimbi ne muzzukulu wa Magonde Lwanga nsibuka mu butuba bwa Kigumba Emumbwe. Mbalamusizza nnyo. That is culture. Ow'olunyiriri. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy to be part of the movie which is going to be premiere on 26 this month in Tololo. We have Ekyooto Ha Mpango, but we have the movie. This movie is really incredible. It has the adventure, and I'm so happy to show the world that Renzori is not a joking subject. We are the people who hike this mountain up to the top Margarita. It was my first time. I thought before it was a joking subject, but the higher it was going, it was not the cooler. It was becoming hotter. I want to tell you, we reached at the top when our skins, they are pale, our ribs, they are tweet. I can't tell you, I was the only man who reached on the top when I have a smile. So I want to see, we moved 7 days, seeing different animals, seeing different creatures. I want to see them by this time when I'm watching this movie. And I'm just telling everybody, if it was not the wave of this year, we want to go for a revenge to hike this mountain again. Because there is a lot, there is a blessing. I reached there, I prayed, God, I said, oh Jesus Christ. I'm wondering why this white come from abroad to come and climb this hike this mountain. I am here on this mountain. Ladies and gentlemen, just wait for the movie. Watch this, watch out.
And on that note, speaking of movies, entertainment, and fashion, saving the best for last, one of the partners that has been strong and tied to this festival from its onset, we have Joseph Chigozi.
Next Media is the leading multimedia group right now in East Africa, and we believe that our mission is very clear. We want to be able to transform this country through the content that we give out. Now, we realize that culture is something that has been eroded, not just in Uganda, it's entire Africa. Bob Marley talked about emancipating ourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. He meant it. He said it 20, 30 years ago. But that statement still holds, because There's so many Africans today who don't know who they are. There will never be anything apart from who they are. And I'll tell you, I think it was Muhammad Ali who said, I never chose who I am. He never chose to be who he is. He never chose to be who he is. So we need to embrace who we are. And part of embracing who we are is culture. Culture is so powerful. I've moved around the world. I realized that the most beautiful country in the world, not in terms of women only, not in terms of food, in terms of weather, is Uganda. People don't believe it. Our job as Next Media is to provide a platform for events like this, for the movie, for people to, so that we can be able to tell the Ugandan story. We've let so many people tell the Ugandan story. He talked about hiking. Ugandans will say that the guy who hiked the story was coming from Portugal. It's very important. So I'm very happy on behalf of Next Media to support this initiative. We will continue to support initiatives of this nature because we believe in the idea of culture. Saba Sajja Kabaka.
Thank you so much, the Deputy Group CEO for Next Media Services, Joseph Chigozi.